Pasha's a real mover. I've known him longer than he lives.
He can be in several places at a time. When he first came, he looked like an Italian and he sang in Turkish. That was interesting. He was like a foreigner.
I never dreamed to be a singer, to be famous. I thought I'd be anything, a pilot or whatever, but not a singer. I was just living, playing and singing. Everything went its own way.
Well, I didn't think he would be a star, but I knew he would sing. When he was 3 or 4, we bought him a guitar and he took on it. He was small and dark-haired, looking like a little gypsy. There was a gypsy camp near our railway station. When he walked by with his guitar, they invited him. He sat down there with them and played.
It was very slow and very long, like water wears away stone drop by drop, making a hole after hundreds of years. That's how I became a musician.
Life was very hard. We had no money. We were poor. I had no relatives to help me. Usually relatives help, but I had none. We were alone. He was already on the stage when he was small. When he went to school, he attended a circle at the Pioneer House and was on the stage there too. At dancing parties in the Culture House, he never danced. He preferred to mix with the musicians.
The mother brought a very nice curly-headed little boy. We checked his ear and other music gifts. He sang very well. His uncle had a perfect ear. He could score pieces for ensembles and was an excellent bayan player, a real virtuoso. He must have handed down his gift to the younger generation, including Victor. I remember that in school, when the teacher put a question, he didn't have to wait for a raised hand. If I knew the answer, I put up my hand at once and knew that it was right. The teachers called me a forward pupil, an upstart. I had that drawback in me. Now it's not so strong, and I hope I won't have it soon. I want to get rid of it.
He wasn't a spoiled boy, just a fidget. In school, the teachers complained that he was talking too much and wouldn't sit quietly at the lessons, but he never was a hooligan.
Victor's freedom-loving character showed when he was still a little boy. He wanted to live independently, so he left his hometown Pavlik and moved to Ternopil, where he went to a vocational school to become a welder. I didn't want to be a welder, but I went to that school because it was common then to go to vocational schools instead of high school. The profession didn't matter, the idea was to leave home. He wasn't that kind of boy, quiet, so to say. No, he was nimble. I remember when I was on duty in the school, I often took his guitar from him after bedtime. Of course, I gave it back to him the next day. I liked him. Upon graduation, Victor was sent to the Communar Works in Zaporizhia to undergo practical training. I was an arc welder. My job was to weld the ring to the car fender where the headlight was mounted. Victor's fellow workers remember him with a guitar rather than a welding set. The same was in the army. Victor was the life and soul of all parties. He sang and played. When I was back from the army, I set up a group in the township of Mikulinci. Its name was Everest. The musicians earned their living by playing in restaurants and at wedding parties.
I was working as a waitress then, and he played in this restaurant. One day I had some trouble in my family and I needed urgent help. I turned to Pavlik and he rushed to help me. He found a car in no time and settled the problem.
Very soon, the group Everest, led by Victor, became very popular in the neighborhood. People's Artist of Ukraine Ivo Bobul heard about it and invited the group to work together at the Philharmonic Society. We had 40 live concerts a month. We loaded our own instruments, lighting and acoustic equipment on the camion. Some days we even gave 3 concerts. It was a great school, a tremendous practice. As musicians say, if you don't start out as a bar band player, you can never become a real musician. In 1992, when Ivo Bobul left the group, it changed the name to Anna Maria.
Серед ночі яскравий день і відлуння твоєї душі лише спомин моїх пісень.
I happened to work with those great musicians, Roman Todoruk and Mykola Shamli, my fellow students at college who set up the group, which Viktor Pavlik joined later. The work was very hard. Not every girl would endure it. I'm one of those who didn't, but anyways, I'm glad that Viktor came after me and became such a celebrity, such a star that made our city famous.
Можна я тебе поцілую? Не кажи мені, не кажи, тільки слово ні.
He was a virtuoso guitar player.
Музыку подбирали они сами.
They made their own repertoire and enjoyed tremendous success in the region and even Ukraine-wide.
І не хочу, а все шукаю. Знаю, боляче нам обом. Та чим більше тебе забуваю, тим частіше разом.
Anna Maria won all contests and festivals that took place in Ukraine at that time. Anna Maria won in 2 nominations. In 1994, it was the best pop group of Ukraine, and the song I Like You was the best lyrical hit of Ukraine.
І саме той край князя Василька, звідки вийшов і Віктор Павлік.
Must have been his home parts that inspired Viktor Pavlik to be so Ukrainian and so religious, to be so devoted to his land and his mother.
І матері рідної, і матері України.
You know that it's all part and parcel of Pavlik.
Це у Павліку все це. Нам дуже приємно, як
We are very glad that our TV and radio company gave him the first impulse to his stage activity.
На сцену. Саме тоді запримітили
That's when Pavlik became known as a musician and a singer.
І саме він від нас, з наших студій, починав якраз.
And that's where he started his way up to the heights.
Все минуло, рідна. Все минуло. Все минуло, рідна, все минуло. Не жалію я за тим, що було, бо коханню меж в житті немає.
И всегда он говорил, что мама,
He always told me, "Mom, I dream of the big stage. It's my dream." When he was asked, "Would you even leave your family?" he said, "Yes, I would, for the sake of the big stage."
Той, хто вірно любить, той страждає.
I was very depressed when I divorced my previous wife. I couldn't calm down for a whole day.
Воно б'є, мов джерело землі.
And then it took me 2 days to recover. I was just paralyzed. I took it all very hard.
Чому сльози на моїх очах, не питай, їх не покажу нікому. Це лише дощ, неба плач, я не повернусь, пробач.
Он был женат не один раз, и вот когда
It was not his first marriage. He was a man of principles, and when he understood that he was head over heels in love with Larissa, he divorced his wife. It was not a rash decision, but I remember his shock. Larissa is a gifted ballet dancer, a very skillful girl, though she's not dancing now. She was working with our ballet troupe, and she was about to go on a performance tour to Turkey. Victor was not on the list of performers. While we were rehearsing our program, it wasn't clear yet if the troupe would go to Turkey at all. But when it was decided finally that the troupe would go to Turkey on a 6-month tour, and it was time to get the visas and get packing, he came to me in despair and said, "And what about me? If she goes, what should I do?" Then we turned everything upside down. We called our partner company in Moscow, actually it was in charge of the whole process, and told them, "You see, our collective needs one more performer." They were surprised. "What are you talking about? You got your ballet troupe and that's all." We say, "No, they have to change their costumes, so they need musical intervals. There's got to be a singer." They were just stunned, but we kept insisting, and that's how the singer went together with the ballet troupe.
Лейла, подаруй мені надію, мрію, подаруй.
In Turkey, I sang every day on different stages. When I had worked in Ankara for half a year, I got an invitation from Fatih Demirtas to sing with the group Midast. I was just amazed. It was only 2 weeks since he'd been in Turkey. We walked out of the hotel. It was some 300 meters from their club, and there were taxis near the entrance. He walks by and shouts hi, hi to them in Turkish. And they greet him, "Viktor, Viktor." It's fantastic how he could become so, in such a short time, as if he'd grown up there. He worked in a restaurant, and they said to him, "No, we don't believe you're Ukrainian. There must be Turkish blood in you." When he sang in Turkish, the Turks stopped singing. I think his sociability helps him get about a lot.
Посеред морів, посеред світів, незнайомих мов. Ніжну і стрімку, любу і п'янку, я тебе знайшов.
When I returned from Turkey in October of '96, I recorded the song Şekedim.
Ой, мамо, шикидим, шикидим. Ой, мамо, шикидим, шикидим. Ой, мамо, шикидим, шикидим. Знов повернусь туди, де живе шикидим.
In '97, the song Şekedim made Viktor Pavlik a star. His audio cassettes sold like hotcakes in millions of copies in Ukraine and beyond.
Я залишу свій рідний дім, скажу так треба друзям всім своїм, і повернуся знов туди, де сходить зірка Шикидим. Я залишу свій рідний дім, скажу так треба друзям всім своїм, і повернуся знов туди, де сходить зірка Шикидим.
That was actually when my real stage career began, and I moved to Kyiv with my wife. So since '97, I've been living in Kyiv, working, singing.
Ти подобаєшся мені, Я по вікнах тебе малюю, не кажи мені, не кажи.
I wrote that song. I had two songs that I thought would fit the boys. I came to them when they were just beginning to work with the Philharmonic House. I came with those two songs, we sat down with a guitar and I say, here are two new songs. The first one was I Like You and the second was Black Glasses.
Що робити мені з собою? Чи побачу тебе, хто зна? Я з тобою, завжди з тобою, коли навіть тебе нема.
It's the only song in Ukraine, at least I don't know any others, that has more than 20 arrangement versions. Now we've got a fantastic idea to release a one-song album. I mean, the album would feature the same song in 20 versions or so, as many as a disc usually holds. There would be 20 interpretations of one song, from brass band to hard rock and disco.
Я з тобою, завжди з тобою, я з тобою, завжди з тобою, я з тобою, завжди з тобою. Ти подобаєшся мені. Ти подобаєшся мені. Ти подобаєшся мені. Ти подобаєшся мені, 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 мені. Ти подобаєшся мені. Не кажи мені, не кажи тільки слово ні.
As far as difficulties in business are concerned, I practically haven't had any.
Я знаю все.
There's only one thing I know. Whatever happens is for the better. Whether I succeed or not, it is all by God's will. It's a matter of believing. Actually, everything that happens to me in my life, in the show business, everything I have experienced in many, many years, is only thanks to the Lord. Only to Him.
Я вже не тану від даремних марень, від мрій, слів, ні вір, ні жалю. Ти не моя, бо я тобі не пара, і байдуже, чи я тебе люблю. Ніч мине, і з нею ти минеш. Листопад, листопад, день, наче день. З першим променем ти знов підеш. Промайнеш, промайнеш день, наче день.
I met Igor Rudy on the street and said, hello, how are you doing? He says, fine. I say, what do you do? He tells me what. I say, what are you doing tomorrow morning? He says, I'm going to the church. I play there. Why don't you come along and see? I just got interested to hear Igor Rudy, who I knew as a very good sax player, playing in the church. It took me 10 minutes to cover the distance that would normally take 20 or at least 15 minutes. All lights turned green for me and there wasn't a car in the way. The city was empty. I arrived at 10 o'clock when the sermon began. When I first came to the church, I was surprised to see so many people rejoicing, dancing and singing. They were singing loudly and shouting. I couldn't understand where I was. First I thought it was a lunatic asylum. Yes, only now I understand that it was me who came there from an asylum. The pastor's homily moved Victor very deeply. After the service, they talked and the pastor recommended him to read a prayer of repentance. Victor agreed. I said, "Oh Lord, I am very glad to know you alive. I want to be with you, to be your close friend, your brother, your child." I thanked him for living in this world, for being a singer. When I was saying these words, tears just streamed from my eyes against my will. Jesus is my idol. Jesus is my God. Jesus is love. Jesus is my life.
Не робити гріха, людям на щастя з'явився. Зірка різдвяна, ніч сяйвом осяває, промінь Господній пролили небеса. Радісна звістка на землю зійшла, Сина Господь посилає. Радісна звістка на землю зійшла, Сина Господь посилає.
To me, he symbolizes the family ideal and an example of what one should strive for here in Ukraine.
Как показатель, к чему, наверное, нужно стремиться здесь, в Украине.
Его такая фантастическая
He's so fantastically hardworking and talented. The sum of these qualities makes the formula of his success as a Ukrainian star.
украинская звезда.
When I think of earning more money, I come to realize that the more I earn, the more good I can do on this earth. Maybe I could build a nice hospital. I recently visited an oncological hospital. It was a horrible sight. There were 10 wards, and they looked like from the Stone Age, like in the 1930s. The sight scared me, and I thought to myself, if I had more money, I'd like to build a light and spacious hospital.
People write to him asking for help. I got a letter from one disabled man. I sent it to Victor and he helped the man. His family wrote to me later and thanked me for my son.
Everyone seems to be concerned about personal problems. No one cares what happens to others. He remembered about me. Well, he happened to visit my town and he asked me how I was. He gave me some money. I needed money then, but I was in such a state that it was even more important to me to have someone willing to help me.
З чим порівняти наше кохання з морем, з хвилями, котрі підносять бажання вгору, з ніжними квітами посеред поля широкого. Міряю нашу з тобою долю кроками. Сьогодні кохання, а завтра розлука, відлив і прилив, нескладна наука. Ти прийдеш і підеш в далекі блукання, так хвилями грає з нами кохання.
Victor's slogan is "Time can't wait." He never takes time to bring joy to the people, both on and off the stage.
Of course, I am happy that my son feels and shares other people's trouble. A young boy came up to him and said, "Victor, I've got nothing to wear on my feet. and Viktor gave him money so that he could buy some shoes.
My uncle Ivan in Kryvyi Rih is in a very bad state. Medicines cost a lot, so I help him every way I can. He feels shy to call me, but I can feel I have to call him and ask him, how are you there? Or I may not necessarily have to call. I know I've got to send him some money.
A part of my job is to deal with orphan children. One day, Viktor came here to his hometown with a concert, and it was so very nice. He gave a small concert at our stadium and donated all the money to our children.
Час настав відпочивати, тож лягай, дитинко, спати. Ангел хай оберігає сон твій уночі і наспівує тихенько, люлі, люлі, спи, серденько, очі закривай, маленький, засинай.
I pray before bed together with my little son Pasha. He says, thank God for Daddy, thank God for Mommy. They are evening prayers. They are very earnest and honest. I thank God for our president. I thank God for our Ukraine. I thank God for my little Nastya. She's now in hospital in America. I pray for her recovery. I thank God for Angelika, her godmother. She had problems with her spine. My child prays every evening for all who are ill. The power of prayer is very strong. His godmother Angelika has recovered.
Yes, I was bedridden for half a year because of serious problems with my spine. Most doctors said I had no chance to walk again. But I'm sure that some energy of goodness from Viktor, Pavlik, and other close people who prayed for me in different cities and countries certainly helped me to recover.
Що воно за диво, розкажіть нам, що воно за диво.
Ми записали пісню.
We recorded a song titled Miracle and decided to shoot the clip in Turkey. When we were about to fly to Turkey, a terrible earthquake happened there and our flight was cancelled. 3 months later, we decided to go to Turkey again to shoot the clip Miracle. And again a miracle happened. There was another earthquake in Turkey and we didn't fly there again. And when we were booking tickets at the Turkish Airlines for the third time, they said to us, oh no, please don't. Turkey just won't survive another earthquake. So we didn't make that clip. We decided to go another way. We made a lovely merry cartoon to that song.
Розкажіть нам, що воно за диво, що воно за диво, знаємо ми самі.
Дороже для меня всего.
The dearest thing to me is, oh, it's a difficult question. Maybe it's human relationships, but I may as well put it in one word, love. There's nothing dearer than love. In a family or in a nation. And there's a good Russian saying, lots of friends are better than loads of money. Pavlik has something that makes him a star throughout Ukraine. A star to elderly people and teenage fans.
Для бабушек и дедушек, и для молодых девчонок, и там фанаток его там. школьного возраста.
He's very productive, very active and gifted. He records very many songs and albums. Other Ukrainian performers couldn't even dream of releasing as many albums a year as he does. He's always stuck in the studio, recording, writing, thinking, and finding something new. Whatever new song he likes, he wants to sing it there and then. Sometimes he tells me, give me this one, give me that one. He's that kind of man who can keep shooting until he hits the bull's eye. He is so persevering and he always achieves his goal.
Я був серед людей, серед емоцій і бажань. Крутилась голова і перехоплювала дух. Я просто відчував кожен подих, кожен рух.
He's a good fellow. I know there are too few clever and agreeable guys like him in the show business today. At least I can't remember him being mean.
Моментів, які міг би назвати підлими або гнилими.
Ні обіцянок, ні пробачень, все сталося само собою. Слова набули нових значень, ми ж не змінилися з тобою.
Everything I know about Viktor Pavlik reached me with a maximal charge of positive energy. He's a very good man. He doesn't have a single negative feature. You can call him an ideal father, an ideal man, ideal in everything. Maybe I'm singing him praises, but I know it's true. I've known him for years. We started out in the show business practically at the same time. I like his openness, his positive charge. He never gets involved into any offstage intrigues. He keeps out of soul.
I hope his beautiful voice and his good musical taste will help him stay among the most famous Ukrainian performers. As any girl, I love his lyrical songs, neither promises nor apologies. I Like You, Infidelity, and others. I hope there will be many more songs like these in his life, to the joy of all girls who will try the meaning of his songs on themselves.
Листопад, листопад, день, наче день. З першим променем ти знов підеш. Промайнеш, промайнеш день, наче день. І без мене шлях, коли собі знайдеш. Йдуть дощі, день, наче день.
Моя мечта, чтобы
My dream is happiness for all children on earth. I wish there were no homeless, no sick. I wish for all people to realize at last what is the true love, what is God, to realize that God is love and love is God.
Ти мене пригадай, зночі за край, полечу я у спогади твої. Я живу в твоїх снах, твоїх сльозах. Я потрапив у пастку мотах. Ти мене пригадай, не відпускай, твоє тіло солодка неволя, твоя тиха печаль, вранішня даль, твоє серце сумне, почуття неземне, знову кличе у спогад мене. Ти мене пригадай, подаруй мені рай, нагадай мені свій поцілунок. Ти мене пригадай, подаруй мені рай, твої спогади мій порятунок. у мене не єдина розрада. Твої очі ясні, як у вісні, даруватимуть світло мені. Ти мене пригадай, зночі за край, полечу я у спогади твої. Твоя тиха печаль, браніш медаль, твоє серце сумне